And welcome back to EDH Deck Building. I'm your host Demo, and this video I'm calling Casual or Not. So basically what this video is going to be about is it's just going to be a discussion about certain cards, and I'm going to name a few. There's obviously a bunch. Are they casual? Are they not? There's just a lot of gray area here, right? The lines are completely blurred. What's casual, what's not? And most of these cards I'm going to name, I would say you could almost split the community completely in half on who thinks it's casual and who thinks it's not casual. So this video is going to be two things. It's going to be a discussion, and I'm not taking a side on any of this. This is just cards that I have noticed that people, some think are casual and some think are not. And you can discuss amongst yourselves whether you think so. It's also, again, like a warning to newer players who aren't aware of this, right? And this is what happened to me when I first started playing. And I will segue into, the first one, which is dual lands. I put dual lands in my commander decks in the beginning. I don't actually own any paper dual lands. This was playing online, and I just thought, why not put them in there? And a guy I was playing against, he was playing a mono red deck, I think it was, played Decree of Annihilation, destroyed all the lands, and I was like, what's up, buddy? Like, that's casual, really? And he's like, what are you talking about? You're playing dual lands. And I'm like, okay. Like, I didn't get that for some people dual lands aren't casual. Are they? Are they casual? Are they not? And after that incident, I actually took them out of my deck because I didn't want people calling me out on it. Do I think they're casual? I don't know. I'm not, all of the cards that are on this list, I don't actually play them, but only for that reason. Not necessarily because I don't think they're casual, but because other people might not think they're casual. And again, this is why I'm saying to new players, maybe you want to avoid cards like this just so it doesn't, some people might get irritated by it, right? What I find is cards that people think are not casual typically are cards that are really, really powerful and also really expensive, right? The combination of the two is what seems to annoy people. Force Field, for example, which I've mentioned now on my channel a few times, it is a really expensive card, but I don't think anyone is going to have an issue with that. You play that in a casual game, nobody's going to say anything. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's not super powerful, so nobody cares, right? Sol Ring and Mana Crypt are the perfect example of this. For me personally, I would argue that Sol Ring is better just because it has zero downside. I like cards that don't have a downside. Yes, Mana Crypt is free essentially, but the one mana really doesn't make that big of a difference unless you're playing CEDH. I would say Mana Crypt is better in CEDH. In a casual game, I like Sol Ring better. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. If the cost is the same, if Sol Ring and Mana Crypt were the same price-wise, then for me, I would still play Sol Ring over Mana Crypt. However, a lot of people don't like to see Mana Crypt in a casual game. And I think mostly because it is powerful and also expensive. The combination is a card that is powerful and also expensive. There are people out there that don't want to see a Sol Ring in a casual game. I mean, I've come across people that if you play a Sol Ring turn one, they'll walk up and quit. I've seen people that I play a fetch land in a casual game, right? I fetch and go get a shock land, and they're like, oh wow, real casual deck, man. So again, Is it like, for me, I think fetches are casual. I do play fetch lands. They are kind of expensive. Shock lands are kind of expensive. We get back to the price being relative thing. For some people, that's a lot of money. If you have 50 decks and you want to put shock lands in all of them, that's a lot of money. But if you have 2 decks and you want to put shock lands in them, not so much, right? So it's all relative. Not getting too much into the price thing. It's more about the actual cards. And certain cards are a combination of both, and that seems to bother people, right? Mana Vault is another one that is, it's expensive, also powerful. You could put any of the expensive mana rocks, maybe Mox Diamond is another one, that are mana positive is the term that I like to use, right? So basically they give you more mana than they cost. Sol Ring is obviously the best example of it, but because it's cheap and everyone has one, then nobody really thinks of it that way, even though it is essentially the same thing. Again, I would put Sol Ring in my deck over Mana Vault, right? Because Sol Ring has zero downside. That's just me. Grim Monolith is another one. Mana positive, really expensive. Is someone going to have an issue if you play that in a casual game? I don't know. One that I've seen a lot that people have issue with is Necropotence, right? Necropotence is probably the best card draw card in the entire format, I think. I mean, if we're just talking about one card that can draw you cards, I think Necropotence is probably the best. Is it casual? Is this casual? How many people, if you see a Necropotence in a game, are going to be, displeased at the very least, or possibly even scoop and walk away because you don't think that that person's deck is casual, right? I've heard people talk about this card needs to be banned in the format. Okay, so there are some people that have very strong feelings about Necropotence. Is it casual? Is it not? And again, we're not talking about strategies here, right? So I could talk about Armageddon and whether or not mass land destruction is casual. I'm just talking about specific cards because these are cards that when I've seen them played in a casual game, people go, oh, wait a minute, right? And this is sort of, again, it's a discussion for people, but also a warning to new players who are like, oh, I have a Necropotence, I'm going to throw it in my deck because it seems really good. So it's just a warning, hey, if you play this in a casual game with people you don't know, they might have an issue with it because they think it's not casual, right? Force of Will is another one. Force of Will is another card that, again, for me, I don't have an opinion on it. I don't really have a problem with someone playing Force of Will in a casual game. It's just one of those cards. Again, powerful, also expensive. And it's just one of those cards that screams CEDH because it is a very common card in CDH, right? So when someone plays it in a casual game, you just sort of get this vibe, right? You sort of get this reaction from people like, hey, whoa, what's going on here, right? Just because it is a powerful, and typically throughout all of Magic's history, it has been a very powerful card. So is it casual? Is it not? What do you guys think? I don't know. For me, I am okay with someone playing Force Will in a casual game, but if they cast it, I do go, okay, right? Because when someone casts a Force of Will or plays a Necropotence, the thought process for me is, okay, even if it is a casual deck, it's definitely going to be powerful. Even if it's casual, it's going to be the most powerful casual version of that deck, right? Because he's playing cards like that. Gaia's Cradle is another one. Is Gaia's Cradle casual? For me, I've heard people call for it to get banned. So definitely there are people who have issue with it. I mean, if you're calling for a card to get banned, then you're definitely not okay with it being in a casual game, I would think. So is it casual? Is it not? I talked about Tabernacle and Mishra's Workshop in my banned cards video, and this is why I'm sort of making this video, is it sort of plays off of that video and what's casual and what's not. Both of these cards are really expensive, and also really powerful. If someone puts a Tabernacle in play turn one in a casual game, are you even going to keep playing? Are you just going to be like, I'm out of here, see ya? I mean, I probably would. If someone plays a Mishra's Workshop turn one in a casual game, taps it for 3 mana so they can play Soul Ring, then a Signet, and then a Grim Monolith or whatever, are you going to stick around? Is that a casual game? Is it? Certainly you could see that in a CDH game and nobody would have an issue with it. And again, this is why I advocate for different formats, and I know people don't like that idea, and I'm going to advocate for it anyway, because I think it would solve a lot of these problems. You have different names for a reason. It's called CEDH for a reason, because it's just completely different than regular casual Commander, in my opinion. Just my opinion. But again, and this goes to my banned video about the cards that I think should be unbanned, and Gifts Ungiven was one of the cards that people talked about a lot, and they're like, oh, you can't unban this because then people just go get their combo, and there's a 4-card package that you can get that just guarantees you a win. And I'm like, okay, but are we playing casual Commander now, or are we playing CDH? If you're going to cast Gifts Ungiven and just go get some package that wins you the game, now you're playing CEDH, right? And if you're playing CEDH, then that's what CEDH players do all the time. That's the whole format is about that. It's about going and getting your Thassa's Oracle and your Demonic Consultation and winning the game. And everyone else at the table is trying to prevent you from doing that, right? So yeah, Gifts Ungiven to go get a package that wins the game, and then someone Force of Wills it, right? Or someone mental missteps your Demonic Consultation. That's the format. I play CEDH. I would have no problem with someone playing Gifts Ungiven in a CEDH game. In a casual game, people shouldn't be doing that. So Gifts Ungiven in a casual game, you're going to be doing something casual with it. It's all about, is it casual or is it not, right? If so you're playing in a casual game and someone goes turn one, Dark Ritual, and I discard my Shieldred into my graveyard, or my Razaketh into my graveyard or whatever, and then cast a Reanimate and reanimate it, is that casual? Is it? I don't know. I mean, if I'm sitting at the table, I'm not going to be super pleased about that. None of those cards are banned. Like those are all, that's to me is way better than Gifts Ungiven. I go get 4 cards and put some, because Gifts Ungiven costs 4, right? So there's already lots of stuff like that you can do in the format. Is it casual? Is it not? I just think there are a lot of cards. Again, Necropotence, Gaia's Cradle. There's a lot of cards that I see in casual, not even in CEDH games, in casual games. And people go, I want that card banned. They want those cards banned. Not you shouldn't be playing it in a casual game. They want them completely banned, right? So it's just for a discussion. Comment below whether or not you think, that is the case. Again, I'm not really taking a stance on any of these particular cards that I mentioned today. I don't play any of them. I don't play Mana Crypt. I don't play Necropotence in any of my decks. And the reason that I don't play them is not necessarily because I don't think they're casual. It is because I don't want to invoke that reaction out of my opponents, right? If I sit down at a table and I play a Force of Will or a Necropotence or a Gaia's Cradle, I don't want my opponents groaning and going, oh, come on, man, that's not right. I want to avoid that. So for me, I avoid that in the same way that I don't play Vorinclex, because I want to avoid that situation. Even though Vorinclex, I would say, is definitely a casual card, I'm not going to play it just because I don't want to have to create that situation in a casual game, right? So it's up to each individual person what you want to do. Obviously, if you have a play group, that's always going to be ideal because rule 0, and you're going to avoid any of those situations, hopefully. But that is it for today, and thanks for tuning in.